Hi, Owen. Thank you so much for working on both prompts this week. Thank you for getting them in on time. It's always a pleasure to get to read students' first poems that they submit in this class to get a just a little glimpse of who you are. So thank you so much for sharing your work with me. Um, a couple of things. I will say that both of the work that you submitted this week for both prompt one and two is pretty short. So I wanted to make sure some other students had questions about the syllable count, the 70 syllable count. And I just wanted to make sure you knew that the 70 syllable is the minimum, that you don't have to stick to that. You don't have to submit short poems each week. It's okay if you do. But I wanted to make sure you knew that you should feel free to expand farther than that. And I would absolutely love it if you would expand beyond the minimum syllable count. Um, I think that the fact that you focused on geography in this first poem, that I am from prompt, is really interesting. I do think if you want to expand this poem, that I would suggest you reread the Mary Pfeiffer poem and sort of see what are the other things that she uses in her poem to describe where she's from. So some examples of that are phrases, right, that she heard all the time growing up from family members, objects that she was surrounded with, the Schwinn bike, different foods that she ate, which give us a more sort of holistic sense, more details about a person's life when you start to incorporate those objects. So if you choose to expand this, I would love to see more of that. Your second one, Assault Flat. I have to say, I giggled a little bit when I read this because it seems so stark. It seems so stark, but I love that you describe it as deadly if unprepared and full of adventure and intrigue. Sort of that contrast of both the dark and the light that can be found in that kind of a landscape. Um, so yeah, I get it that a writing life has highs and lows and can be overwhelming and can be nourishing all at the same time. So I think it's um, a really interesting symbol that you chose to describe your writing life, the salt flat. So thank you for that. Thanks for being surprising. I will say one of the things that's missing from your submission this week, and so just to be conscious of this for future weeks, is at the end of each of your poems, I ask that you guys include two questions about that poem. And the reason why is to kind of guide your writing group and guide me in the specific feedback that would be helpful for you to receive. Since we won't have the opportunity to really talk as we would in a traditional classroom setting, this gives you the chance to make sure that you're asking for what you need from your classmates and from me. So thank you so much, Owen, for sharing your work with me this week, and I look forward to reading more. I hope you have a fantastic weekend.